Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins All World, coin collectors and history enthusiasts. Today, we have an exciting episode for you as we explore a coin that's often overlooked but has gained significant attention in the numismatic world, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from 1975. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny you might come across in your change jar, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. This small and unassuming coin could actually be worth a substantial amount of money if you know what to look for. So why is the 1975 Lincoln penny so special? What makes it stand out among the hundreds of billions of pennies that have been minted over the years? Let's dive into the history, design, rarity, and potential value of this coin, and you'll soon see why it has caught the attention of collectors and investors alike. First, let's talk about the history behind the 1975 Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin has remained largely unchanged over the years. The front, or obverse, of the penny features the familiar portrait of President Lincoln, which has become one of the most iconic representations of a U.S. president on currency. The reverse side, or reverse, traditionally shows a wheat sheaf, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots. However, that design changed in 1959 when the Lincoln Memorial replaced the wheat sheaf, a change that continued until 2008 when a new design was introduced to mark Lincoln's bicentennial. Now, let's zoom in on the 1975 Lincoln penny specifically. At the time, the United States was in the middle of a tumultuous period in terms of both its economy and political landscape. The 1970s were marked by rising inflation, a shift in the country's manufacturing sector, and political upheaval. Despite these challenges, the 1975 Lincoln penny was a part of a critical shift in U.S. currency. This coin was minted during a time when the U.S. government was moving away from the use of silver in coins, and copper was becoming the primary material used in pennies. The 1975 Lincoln penny was made primarily from copper and zinc, which was standard for the time. The coin features the portrait of Lincoln, of course, and on the reverse, it displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was created by Frank Gasparo and first used in 1959. This design was meant to symbolize the nation's unity and strength. The coin's simplicity and elegance are part of what has made it so enduring for more than a century, but while the 1975 Lincoln penny may seem like just another routine coin to most people, it has gained notoriety among collectors for its potential rarity and the possibility of finding certain mint errors that could make the coin worth much more than its face value. Let's take a moment to talk about rarity. Although millions of 1975 Lincoln pennies were minted, not all of them are created equal. Most of the coins that entered circulation were quickly spent and began to show signs of wear and tear. However, coins in uncirculated or pristine condition are rare and highly sought after by collectors. The 1975 penny, when found in mint condition, without scratches, discoloration, or damage, becomes a rare treasure for those in the coin collecting world. What really excites collectors about the 1975 Lincoln penny, however, are the potential minting errors that can make this coin even more valuable. Sometimes, errors happen during the production process, and these mistakes create coins that are one of a kind. For example, some 1975 pennies have been discovered with double die errors, which means that the coin was struck multiple times, causing the image of Lincoln, the year, or other inscriptions to appear doubled. These errors can dramatically increase the value of a coin because they are rare and can't be reproduced. Collectors seek out these coins because they're unique and hold historical significance. Another error that has been found in the 1975 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin is not aligned properly in the press, resulting in part of the design being cut off. Off-center strikes, particularly if they show a significant misalignment, are highly collectible and can be worth a lot of money depending on how rare they are. For those who are familiar with coin collecting, it's easy to understand why mint errors are so valuable. These coins are considered anomalies, and owning one of these mistakes is a point of pride for serious collectors. While the standard 1975 Lincoln penny might only be worth its face value of 1 cent, a 1975 penny with a minting error can be worth much more, sometimes even thousands of dollars. So, let's cut to the chase. what is the value of the 1975 Lincoln penny if you happen to have one in great condition or with a minting error? Well, the value of a well-preserved, uncirculated 1975 Lincoln penny can range anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds, depending on the condition and rarity. But the real goldmine lies in error coins. If you've got a 1975 penny with a significant double die or off-center strike error, you could be looking at a jaw-dropping price tag. The highest reported value for a 1975 Lincoln penny with a significant error is a whopping $43,000. Yes, that's right, $43,000 for a single 1975 penny. This kind of price is not common, but it highlights just how valuable a rare and pristine coin with the right characteristics can be. For collectors, owning one of these rare 1975 pennies is akin to owning a piece of history, something that's not only valuable today but will continue to appreciate over time. So, how can you tell if your 1975 Lincoln penny is worth thousands of dollars? Start by checking its condition. Is it in great shape with sharp details? If so, you may already have something valuable on your hands. Next, look for signs of any minting errors. Is there a double die error or an off-center strike? If so, you could be looking at a rare and valuable coin. If you suspect you have a 1975 Lincoln penny that could be worth more than just a penny, it's worth getting it professionally graded by a numismatic expert. This will give you an accurate assessment of its condition and help determine its true market value. In conclusion, while the 1975 Lincoln penny might seem like a simple coin, it has the potential to be worth far more than its face value, especially if you're lucky enough to have one in uncirculated condition or with a minting error. So, keep your eyes peeled the next time you go through your change. Who knows, you might be holding onto a coin worth $43,000. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1980 United States Lincoln penny, a coin that might just be sitting in your pocket right now, and you wouldn't even know it's worth a fortune. That's right, this seemingly ordinary penny could be worth thousands of dollars, depending on its condition and certain unique characteristics. You might think to yourself, it's just a penny, how valuable can it really be? Well, you'll be surprised. There's much more to the 1980 Lincoln penny than you might have expected. Let's explore its history, design, rarity, and why it has become such a prized possession among collectors. By the end of this video, you'll see why this coin could be worth more than just its face value of 1 cent. Let's start with the basics. What makes the 1980 Lincoln penny different from the countless pennies minted before it? The Lincoln penny itself has a rich and long-standing history. First introduced in 1909, the Lincoln penny was designed to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Its iconic portrait of Lincoln has remained largely unchanged for over a century, making it one of the most recognized coins in the U.S. The 1980 Lincoln penny specifically is part of a group of pennies minted during the 1970s and 1980s, a time when the U.S. economy was facing some significant challenges. The 1970s saw inflation running high, and copper prices skyrocketed, which led to the U.S. Mint reducing the amount of copper in the penny, replacing it with a combination of copper and zinc. This change in materials is important because it impacts the coin's composition and the way it has aged over time. The 1980 penny features the classic design that collectors are familiar with. On the obverse, we have the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, looking dignified as ever. The inscription, "In God We Trust," appears just above Lincoln's head, along with the year of mintage, 1980. On the reverse, we see the traditional design of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of America's strength and unity. This design, created by Frank Gasparo, was first introduced in 1959 and remained on the penny until 2008. At first glance, the 1980 Lincoln penny might seem like nothing special, especially when you consider that the U.S. Mint produced millions of them. However, it's the condition and rarity of these coins that has made them so valuable to collectors. Let's talk about why, like many coins, the 1980 penny was used extensively in everyday transactions. Over the years, it's likely that many of these coins went through countless hands, spent, lost, and damaged. But what happens when you find a 1980 penny that hasn't been worn down or marked by time? That's where the value lies. Coins that are in mint condition, meaning they show no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, are worth far more than their face value. Uncirculated coins or those that are in proof condition are rare, and as a result, they become highly sought after. In fact, a 1980 Lincoln penny that is in gem uncirculated condition can fetch a premium price. These coins are considered rare finds in the world of numismatics, and collectors are willing to pay a pretty penny for them. However, there's even more to this coin's value: minting errors. As with many other coins, mistakes happen during the minting process, and these errors create coins that are unique and often extremely valuable. For example, the 1980 penny has been known to feature double die errors, which occur when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, resulting in a double image of the design. This can make the details on the coin, such as the date or Lincoln's portrait, appear doubled. These error coins are highly coveted by collectors because they're one of a kind, and the rarity makes them worth much more than a regular, unflawed penny. Another type of error that can increase the value of a 1980 Lincoln penny is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned. If the coin has a significant misalignment, it becomes even more desirable to collectors who are looking for that perfect and unique addition to their collection. The key takeaway here is that mint errors are a major factor in determining the value of a 1980 Lincoln penny. If you're fortunate enough to find a 1980 penny with one of these rare errors, you could be looking at a substantial increase in value. It's important to examine your coins carefully, as even a small imperfection or error could mean the difference between a few cents and thousands of dollars. So, what exactly could a 1980 Lincoln penny with these features be worth? Well, depending on its condition and whether it has a minting error, the price can vary greatly. However, the highest recorded sale for a 1980 Lincoln penny is quite staggering. If you have a perfect, uncirculated coin or one with a notable minting error, it could be worth up to $40,000. That's right, $40,000. That's an incredible amount of money for a coin that was once just a simple penny in circulation. The fact that a 1980 penny can be worth so much highlights just how valuable rare coins can be. It's a reminder to always check your change, because you never know when you might come across a coin that's worth far more than its face value. To sum it up, the 1980 Lincoln penny is much more than just a coin from the 1980s. Whether it's in mint condition or has a rare minting error, this penny has the potential to be worth a fortune. So, the next time you come across a 1980 penny, take a moment to examine it closely. It could be the key to unlocking a hidden treasure. Today, we're going to talk about a seemingly humble coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm, the 1970 Lincoln penny. Now, you may be wondering, what makes a 1970 penny so special? Well, sit tight because we're going to explore its rich history, its value in today's market, and how this small coin can be worth an impressive amount of money, much more than its face value. When most people think of pennies, they probably envision a small, copper-colored coin worth just 1 cent. But the truth is, some pennies are worth far more than their nominal value, and the 1970 Lincoln penny is one of those hidden treasures that could be sitting in your collection or even in your change jar, waiting to be discovered. First, let's take a step back and look at the history of the Lincoln penny. Introduced in 1909, the Lincoln penny was designed to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This iconic coin has remained a symbol of American history for over a century, with the portrait of Lincoln on the obverse side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, making it a beloved piece of Americana. While the design remained unchanged for decades, certain years and editions of the Lincoln penny have become highly sought after by collectors, and 1970 is one of those key years. The 1970 penny was a part of the standard mintage that was widely circulated in the U.S., but here's the catch: this seemingly ordinary penny might be worth much more than you think, and the key to its high value lies in its unique features and the story behind its production. Let's start with the basics. In 1970, the U.S. Mint continued producing pennies made primarily of copper, a metal that was becoming increasingly expensive to produce. That's why you may have heard about the shift to using zinc-plated steel for pennies in 1982. But the 1970 Lincoln penny was still primarily copper, which is important to collectors because it holds historical value due to the high copper content. These older pennies, especially the pre-1982 versions, are highly prized by coin enthusiasts due to their composition, as they were made with a much higher percentage of copper than modern pennies. While the 1970 penny was struck in large numbers and circulated widely, not all 1970 pennies are created equal. The true value of these coins depends heavily on their condition and, in particular, on any minting errors that may have occurred during production. Like many coins, the 1970 penny was minted in both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and it is the errors from these mints that make the coin highly sought after by collectors. So, what are these errors that make the 1970 Lincoln penny so valuable? Well, one of the most famous and valuable variants is the 1970 small date penny. This is where things get really interesting. The 1970 small date penny is a rare minting error that resulted from a change in the size of the date on the coin. While the 1970 penny was intended to have a larger date, a number of coins were mistakenly struck with a smaller date, making them much rarer. Collectors love these small date variants because they are much more difficult to find compared to the standard 1970 pennies. As a result, the 1970 small date can command a hefty premium. In fact, an uncirculated 1970 small date penny in perfect condition can fetch a significant amount of money at auction. In addition to the small date, there are also other notable errors in the 1970 pennies. These can include double dies, where the coin features a doubled image due to misalignment during the minting process. Double die errors can affect the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust inscriptions, making them easy to spot for keen-eyed collectors. There are also off-center errors where the die does not align properly during the striking process, causing part of the design to be off-center. These errors are very distinctive and add to the coin's uniqueness and rarity. Now, you might be thinking, that's great, but how much is my 1970 penny really worth? Well, if you've got a perfect, uncirculated 1970 small date penny, you could be sitting on a real gold mine. Depending on the coin's condition and its specific error type, 1970 pennies can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $1,000s, but here's the kicker: if you happen to find one of these 1970 small date pennies in gem quality, with no signs of wear or aging, and possibly with an additional minting error, you could be looking at an incredible value. In fact, it's not uncommon for these rare coins to fetch upwards of $43,000 at auction. Yes, that's $43,000 for a penny that was once just circulating in your pocket change. Now, you're probably thinking, what are the chances that I have one of these rare coins in my collection or change jar? The truth is, it's all about knowing what to look for. If you have a 1970 penny, especially one from the San Francisco Mint, which will be marked with an S mint mark, you'll want to examine it closely. Look for the small date variant, and check for any minting errors like double dies or off-center strikes. If you're unsure, it's worth having a professional coin grader take a look, as these experts can determine the coin's true value. In conclusion, while the 1970 Lincoln penny may seem like just another common coin, there's a world of value hidden beneath the surface. The small date errors, along with other minting mistakes, have made this penny one of the most sought-after coins in the world of collectors. So, take a closer look at your coins. That penny in your pocket might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Today we're talking about the 1976 Lincoln penny, a coin that holds a fascinating history, and in certain cases, a jaw-dropping value in today's market. Now, you might be wondering, why is a 1976 Lincoln penny so special? After all, this coin was issued as part of the standard mintage back in the mid-70s, so what makes it worth a serious amount of money? Stick around, and we'll break down the reasons why this coin, which seems like just another penny in the pocket, could be worth a small fortune. Let's start with a little bit of background. The Lincoln penny has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909, it has been a staple of the U.S. currency system for over a century. Over the years, the design of the penny has evolved, but it has always featured the profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, with the Lincoln Memorial appearing on the reverse until 2009, when a new reverse design was introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now, the 1976 Lincoln penny marks a key milestone in American coinage. The year 1976 was significant not just for coin collectors but for the entire nation. It was the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and while the celebration of this event was mostly focused on the bicentennial of the United States, the coinage from this year carries special significance for collectors. The 1976 Lincoln penny features the usual design with Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. However, the real story behind the value of this coin is tied to its rarity, condition, and the specific factors that make it stand out among other pennies minted in that year. While most people think of pennies as being common and worth, well, a penny, there are certain error coins that can dramatically increase the value of a seemingly ordinary coin. And the 1976 Lincoln penny is no exception. Coin collectors have learned that this penny has a few hidden gems, minting errors and rare variations, that make it stand out from the rest. The first thing that can make a 1976 Lincoln penny more valuable is its condition. As you can imagine, coins that have been in circulation for decades often show signs of wear, such as scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections. However, if you happen to have a 1976 penny that is in pristine, uncirculated condition, that alone can elevate its value. Coins that have been kept in perfect condition, free from damage, can be worth much more than a typical penny, sometimes hundreds of times more than the face value. But let's go deeper. The real treasure lies in the error coins. Some 1976 Lincoln pennies were struck with imperfections, which have made them highly collectible and valuable. One of the most sought-after error types for the 1976 Lincoln penny is the double die error. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the minting process, creating a doubled image on the coin. This can be particularly noticeable in the date and the inscriptions on the coin, like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." These errors can make a coin much more rare and desirable, and collectors are always on the lookout for such pieces. Another possible error is the off-center strike, which occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process. As a result, part of the design can be cut off, creating a distinct and unique coin. These types of errors can make a coin far more valuable than a standard, well-minted piece. Then, there's the clash die error, which happens when two dies make contact without a coin being struck between them. This can create unusual markings or images on the coin that weren't intended to be there, adding to its rarity and appeal. Now, what about the value of a 1976 Lincoln penny? The value of a coin largely depends on its rarity, condition, and any minting errors that it may feature. A 1976 Lincoln penny in average circulation might only be worth a few cents above face value, but if you're lucky enough to have one in mint condition, especially one with a rare error, then the price can skyrocket. For a 1976 Lincoln penny that's in perfect, uncirculated condition, collectors are willing to pay a significant premium. The double die error coins, in particular, can fetch a high price depending on the specific characteristics and condition of the coin. If you're in possession of a double die 1976 penny in mint state, it can easily sell for thousands of dollars. But here's the real kicker: if you have a rare error coin in exceptional condition, such as a 1976 Lincoln penny with a noticeable minting flaw, you could see an incredible payoff. In fact, certain high-quality error coins have been known to sell for a staggering $41,600. That's right, a penny, just a simple 1-cent piece, can be worth $41,600 if it's in excellent condition and has the right kind of error. Whether it's the double die error, a clash die, or another rare minting mistake, the possibilities for discovery are endless. So, what should you do if you have a 1976 Lincoln penny in your possession? The first thing to do is carefully inspect it for any of these potential minting errors. If you notice any doubling in the date or inscriptions, or if the coin seems unusually off-center, it's worth getting it professionally graded by a numismatic expert. A reputable coin grader can evaluate its condition, verify its authenticity, and provide a fair market value for the coin. In conclusion, the 1976 Lincoln penny might seem like a regular penny to the untrained eye, but it can be a treasure trove of value for those who know what to look for. Whether it's the rarity of the minting errors or simply the condition of the coin, a well-preserved and unique 1976 penny can fetch thousands of dollars. And who knows? You might just be holding onto a coin worth more than you ever imagined. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of American currency, where we're going to uncover the secrets behind a particular coin that might just be hiding in your collection. If you've ever come across a 1975 Lincoln penny, you might not have thought twice about it, considering it's just a penny. But let me tell you, this small coin has a rich history and could potentially be worth a lot more than you think. Stick with us, and by the end of the video, you'll be amazed at what this coin could be worth in today's market. First, let's set the stage. The 1975 Lincoln penny is part of a long-standing tradition of U.S. coinage, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most significant figures in American history. But while the Lincoln penny has seen many versions throughout the years, the 1975 issue carries with it something special. Though it may not be immediately obvious, 1975 was an interesting year for the United States. The country was still adjusting to the post-Vietnam War era, and there were notable shifts in the economic landscape. During this time, the U.S. Mint continued to produce coins in massive quantities, and the 1975 Lincoln penny was no exception. But here's the thing, most of these coins, like the one you may have tucked away in your drawer or jar, were released into circulation, and over time, many became damaged or worn down. In fact, by today's standards, most 1975 pennies are quite common, and their value is typically just 1 cent. However, there's a big but here. As with most coins, rarity and condition play a crucial role in determining their value. While most 1975 Lincoln pennies are plentiful and not worth much more than face value, there are certain factors that can make one stand out from the crowd. And for collectors, a penny from this year, in exceptional condition, or with certain features, can fetch a significant price. If you're lucky enough to find a well-preserved 1975 penny that's in mint condition, you could be holding a gem that could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, why is the 1975 Lincoln penny so sought after in the coin collecting world? The key to this penny's value lies in a few key elements: rarity, mint errors, and condition. Let's explore them one by one. 41. Error coins are a huge deal in the world of numismatics. These are coins that were struck with imperfections, and they can often command premium prices. The 1975 Lincoln penny is no exception. Some 1975 pennies feature minting errors, such as double die errors, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. These errors can make the coins incredibly rare and highly desirable to collectors who are constantly on the lookout for something special. In fact, certain double die 1975 pennies, where the design is struck more than once, creating a noticeable doubling of the date or other inscriptions, can be worth a small fortune. If you happen to have one of these error coins, you could be in for a significant payday, but even if you don't have an error coin, don't worry. Condition is everything when it comes to the value of any coin, and the 1975 Lincoln penny is no different. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition, with sharp, clear details and no visible wear, can increase in value. The 1975 penny was struck at a time when the U.S. Mint was producing massive numbers of coins, and many of them were used in daily transactions. As a result, most of these pennies you find today are in poor condition, showing signs of wear from years of circulation. However, if you happen to find a 1975 Lincoln penny in mint state, it will be a much more valuable coin compared to others from the same year. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. How much is a 1975 Lincoln penny really worth? Well, as we've already mentioned, most of these coins are not worth much more than 1 cent. But for those rare specimens in mint condition or with valuable mint errors, the price can shoot up significantly. The 1975 Lincoln penny, when in pristine, uncirculated condition, can be worth far more than its face value. A double die error penny from 1975 could sell for thousands of dollars in the right market, and if it's graded highly by professional numismatists, it could go for even more. But here's the big reveal. If you have a 1975 Lincoln penny in excellent condition or with a rare error, such as a double die, and it's professionally graded, you could see it being worth an astonishing $39,800. Yes, you heard that right, $39,800. A 1975 Lincoln penny in top-tier condition, or with one of those coveted mint errors, could fetch this eye-popping amount. So, it's worth taking a closer look at any 1975 pennies you might have lying around. Who knows? That penny you might have considered a throwaway could turn out to be a major collector's item. So, what should you do next if you suspect you have a valuable 1975 Lincoln penny? The best thing you can do is to take it to a professional coin grader. These experts can evaluate your coin, check for any errors or unique features, and give you an accurate assessment of its value. From there, you'll be able to make an informed decision about whether you want to hold onto it for your collection or possibly sell it to the highest bidder. In conclusion, the 1975 Lincoln penny might seem like just another 1-cent piece, but it has the potential to be a valuable treasure. Whether it's a minting error, a rare condition, or just an extremely well-preserved example, there's real money to be made with these coins. So, take a moment to check your change jar or your coin collection and see if you have a 1975 penny that could be worth $39,800. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video informative and interesting, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more exciting coin discoveries, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Who knows what hidden gems are waiting for you in your own collection? Happy hunting, and we'll see you in the next video.